Hey guys, Miss Sewing here, and let's review the Red Scare. So, the Red Scare is taking place during the 1950s, during a time where we are really afraid of the communist influence. So, the Red Scare is specifically talking about this fear or concern of communism and of spies from the Soviet Union infiltrating our government. So, I use Among Us here as a great example of what the word infiltrate means, where you're trying to sort of blend in with the crew and look like you're not up to anything suspicious. And so same things happening in the 1950s. We're worried that there are these communist spies, people who are not loyal to the United States but are loyal instead to the Soviet Union, and we are worried about their presence in America. We saw during this time period people in our government who would make accusations that a certain person was a communist without necessarily any evidence. And this guy pictured on your screen, Joe McCarthy, he is a great example of a guy who pretty much would point a finger at you without anything to back it up. He formed a committee which we call HUAC, House Un-American Activities Committee, to investigate and to look into possible communist threats. And here's the big thing, guys. McCarthy, people like him, and groups like HUAC, they never found any proof that there were these communist spies in our government waiting to strike. It was never a reality. It was just a fear. Let's wrap up today's video touching on some of the impacts or the effects of the Red Scare. The number one thing I would argue is fear. A big impact of this event is that people were really afraid of communism here in the US. And communism was a dirty word for many, many years, and in some circles is still a dirty word today. Real people were also harmed by McCarthy's panic over this problem that didn't really exist. When these people were accused of being communist, people lost their jobs. Some people even went to prison because they refused to go to court and defend themselves. That cost people jobs, cost people money, that cost people years of freedom of their lives just because they're being accused of being this thing that we were so afraid of at that time, communist and believing in the communist system.